Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. We are continuing our SEC football predictions today, and our next team has a new head coach, a new offensive and defensive scheme, and are looking to get back into a bowl game. They are the Arkansas Razorbacks. Arkansas had a horrendous season last year, going just 4-8 and seeing the end of the Brett Bielema era. Now they bring in Chad Morris, the former SMU head coach and former Clemson offensive coordinator, and he's bringing in a new style of offense that's completely opposite of what Brett Bielema used during his 5 years with the Razorbacks. Morris is bringing in a new up-tempo, more speed offense, more pass-happy offense, which is going to be very exciting and very different from the Bielema era, but should be a lot of fun to watch. And on the defensive side of the ball, they bring in John Chavis as defensive coordinator, one of the better defensive coordinators in all of college football, and he is switching the Razorbacks back from a 3-4 defense to a 4-3 defense. They switched just last year. They had been 4-3 for a very long time, switched for 1 year, and now he's bringing them back to that 4-3 defense. And he's lucky because he returns 8 starters in that defensive side of the ball. Their secondary should be one of their biggest strengths there. You have Kevin Richardson, you have Santos Ramirez, you have Chevin Callaway, Cameron Curl, Ryan Pulley. So some very solid defensive backs there. And along the defensive line, you have McTelvin or Sosa Agim, who will play very well there, and they plan on using at multiple positions along that line. And then Dorian Gerald, one of the top defensive tackles and defensive ends in college football, junior college transfer that they were able to acquire during the offseason. So that was huge acquisition for the Razorbacks there. On offense, they have a bit of a quarterback battle. Is it going to be Cole Kelley, who started a number of games last year when Austin Allen went down for injury and didn't look too bad? Or will it be Ty Storey, who has seen limited time as a Razorback, but in my opinion looked better than Kelley in the Arkansas spring game back in April? We might not know who the week 1 starter is until right before week 1 or very, very late in August. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they do in fall practice as they prepare for their season opener against Eastern Illinois, who has produced some solid quarterbacks in the past with Jimmy Garoppolo and Tony Romo, but shouldn't be any problem for the Razorbacks in their first game in the Chad Morris era. And this is going to be the most ideal game for them because they can see how their new quarterback is going to fare, how the new defense is going to fare in that system, how the offense reacts to the new up-tempo, no-huddle offense, how they're going to react to that. And this is the perfect game to do it against an FCS school who they should handle fairly easily. In week 2, they head to Colorado State, which is an interesting matchup, going on the road to a Group of 5 team up in the Mountain West. As we all know, this should have been Arkansas versus Michigan, but Michigan canceled their home-and-home series with the Razorbacks so they could renew their rivalry with Notre Dame. And because of that, Arkansas was not required to play a Power 5 school in non-conference play. So they got to play Colorado State here, and I would be very tempted to pick the Rams if they still had their quarterback in Nick Stevens and their solid wide receiver in Michael Gallup from last year. Both are gone to the NFL right now. And I would be very tempted to pick them if they both had those players there. However, the Colorado State just returns 9 starters, and I think the Razorbacks will be able to go on the road. They'll be able to fix any problems they have with their offense and get a key win on the road here, which is never easy to play on the road. Colorado State head coach Mike Bobo, former offensive coordinator at Georgia, always is going to have his team prepared, but I think the Razorbacks get a solid win on the road here to start off 2-0, and that's mostly going to be thanks to their offense. I think the Colorado State defense going up against an SEC offense, especially an up-tempo one like Chad Morris is going to bring in, is going to give them a little bit of trouble. So I'm very interested to see that. Then the Razorbacks come back home to play North Texas, and this is a game that the Razorbacks do not need to overlook. North Texas returns tons of starters on their team. I believe it's about 17 as well, including what could be maybe the best quarterback in the Conference USA with Mason Fine. He put up some big numbers last year, and if this Arkansas defense is not really prepared for this game, maybe they overlook North Texas, maybe they aren't adjusting to the 4-3 scheme as well, Mason Fine could have a big field day against this Arkansas defense. I think the Razorbacks get the win here, but they do not need to overlook North Texas in this game. I would be very worried for that. We've seen Arkansas lose to a number of teams they should not have lost to, namely Toledo just a few years ago, Louisiana Monroe back in 2012, and they don't need another slip-up here at home against North Texas, but I'm going to give them the win. Then they have their first SEC game on the road against Auburn. An interesting backstory here. You should look it up. Chad Morris and Gus Malzahn have a bit of a friendship there. Another thing that's completely opposite from the Brett Bielema era when he and Gus Malzahn had a big feud there. Chad Morris going to Gus Malzahn back when Morris was coaching high school football in Texas to get some pointers on how to run this type of offense that Gus Malzahn was using as a high school coach around the Fayetteville region back in the day. So it's obviously an interesting relationship there. Arkansas going to Auburn for the first time since they lost 56-3 just 2 years ago. I do not expect that game to be as bad this year, but I think Auburn will defeat Arkansas fairly handily. They have Gus Malzahn. They have Jarrett Stidham, one of the better quarterbacks in the SEC, and a very solid defensive line going up against what should be a weak Arkansas offensive line. We saw how bad it was last year. I don't expect it to improve as much this year, and I expect whoever's at quarterback to get battered up a little bit this game because the Auburn defensive line is going to be extremely tough. And I think the Razorbacks lose on the road to Auburn, mostly because they're not going to be able to handle that Auburn defense. Then they come to Arlington, Texas at Dallas Stadium to face Texas A&M, and this game has produced a number of classics since A&M has joined the SEC, and even a little bit before that when they were just facing off as SEC and Big 12 rivals. But Arkansas has not beaten Texas A&M since the Aggies joined the SEC back in 2012, and that is a bit of a problem. Will that change this year? It's going to be a close game as always, but I'm going to give the edge to Texas A&M. They bring in Jimbo Fisher, Nick Starkel, who I think is a decent quarterback, and they will own the edge at the quarterback position over whoever starts for Arkansas. And then if this game has to come down to defense, I'm going to have a little more faith in Texas A&M's 8 returning starters and an Arkansas defense that is going to be the strength of this team, but it might still be adjusting to their new scheme. This could be another big shootout, but if it's going to come down to a defensive stop, I'm going to pick the Aggies in this one. And I think the streak extends to 7 for Texas A&M. Another loss here for Arkansas, 3-2, going into Alabama. Arkansas has not beaten Alabama since 2006. Alabama has been dominant, as we all know, pretty much since about 2008, 2009, when Nick Saban came and started coaching the Crimson Tide. They bring in Tua Tagovailoa, the hero from the national championship game. They come into what should be a loud Don W. Reynolds Stadium. Now that they have that new renovation there, that's going to even be better. It's going to be a great environment. They're going to be hyped. Chad Morris, this could be the signature win for his first year in Arkansas. Can Arkansas snap their 11-game losing streak to Alabama? Absolutely not. That's going to be another loss for Arkansas here to Alabama, as to be expected. And then you've got the Ole Miss game, and this could be the game that determines if Arkansas is going to a bowl or not. There are a number of games. Really, you have these 3 first games here, Tulsa and Vanderbilt, that could easily be wins for Arkansas. So this Ole Miss game could be huge, and if they're going to get to 6 or maybe 7 wins in Chad Morris's first year. The game is being played in Little Rock at War Memorial Stadium, where Arkansas has struggled in recent years. Ole Miss having a very solid offense in Jordan Teyamu and that very, very deep wide receiver core that I've been praising, by far one of the best in the nation. Last year was a thriller at Ole Miss. Arkansas down 31-7 in the second quarter, battling all the way back and winning that game 38-37. So a great comeback there, and it just comes to show that the Arkansas defense can shut down that Ole Miss offense. Sure, they had a couple lucky breaks in that game last year, but it shows that they can do it. And I'm going to give Arkansas a big-time win here against Ole Miss at War Memorial in Little Rock. That's going to be huge for them if they want to try to get to a bowl game. And they bring in Tulsa, who returns a decent number of starters as well, but shouldn't be a big issue for Arkansas. Another group of 5 team that they should be able to take care of. A couple of years ago, back in 2012, Tulsa nearly upset Arkansas in Fayetteville. Don't see that happening this year. They should be able to take care of business. They'll be riding high after their first SEC victory against Ole Miss. And then they come back in Fayetteville again to face off against Vanderbilt. Arkansas facing Missouri and Vanderbilt from the East, so not too bad of a draw there for their cross-divisional games. Vanderbilt, a team that really needs to get to a bowl. Derek Mason wants to keep his job. They have a solid quarterback in Kyle Shermer, and Derek Mason, being a defensive-minded coach, could shut down this Arkansas offense for a little bit. But in the end, I think the Arkansas defense this late in the season is going to have adjusted. Assuming everybody can stay healthy, I think they're going to be able to shut down the Vanderbilt offense. I feel fairly confident in that. They're going to have the home crowd on their side. They're going to be on a 2-game win streak, and I'm going to make it a 3-game win streak with a win over Vanderbilt. And that is going to get Arkansas to bowl eligibility right now, and they're 6-3 and not looking too bad. They have a bye week coming into the LSU game, battle for the Golden Boot. They're on a 2-game losing streak there, losing 38-10 2 years ago in Fayetteville, 33-10 last year in Baton Rouge. I said before that I think this is the weakest LSU team we have seen in recent memory. They only have 10 returning starters, but the defense is going to be their biggest strength. Their defense will be extremely solid. And this is an Arkansas team that, yes, has Devwah Whaley at running back, yes, has some solid wide receivers, Michael Petway, Jonathan Nance, some solid wide receivers there, but I do not have faith in their quarterback position or their offensive line. This LSU defense could have a pretty big day against Arkansas in Fayetteville, and unfortunately I see Arkansas dropping to 3 straight losses to LSU in this series, despite it being at home. I'm going to give them a loss there. And then, this is going to be brutal, 2 straight road games to close the season, so that would be senior night for Arkansas against LSU. I see them losing that at Mississippi State, at Missouri. If you remember 2 years ago, last time Arkansas was at Mississippi State, it was a shootout, 58-42, very exciting game. This year, I do not expect that at all. Mississippi State returning 17 stars as well, new head coach as well, much better quarterback than Arkansas, Nick Fitzgerald, and I see him having a big day, especially on Mississippi State senior night against this Arkansas defense that still has a lot of questions. It might not be super great. We saw how bad they were last year. I expected them to improve on last year's defensive performance, but not that much. I expect Nick Fitzgerald and the Mississippi State offense to have a big day on senior day, and it's going to be a loss here for Arkansas. And then at Missouri, last time Arkansas was here as well, 24-7 lead at halftime, blown, lost 28-24, and that was just the epitome of the Brett Bielema era, blowing big leads or blowing games late. And this year, I expect Arkansas to hang with Missouri. These guys have had some classic games since Missouri joined the SEC just back in 2012 as well. But they also have another solid quarterback in Drew Lock. And I think this offense is going to have another big day on their senior night as well. Like I said, Arkansas's defense is going to be their strength. I do not have a lot of faith in their offense. Yes, it will be more up-tempo. Yes, I think they will adjust. Yes, I think they will hang with some tougher teams. But this one's on the road against a Missouri team that's going to be looking to get to maybe 7 or 8 wins. I just don't see them going on the road and winning in their season finale. And I think Drew Lock has another big day. That's going to be a loss for them. Missouri, I think, almost put up 700 yards of offense against Arkansas last year in Fayetteville in a 48-45 shootout. So another classic game, but I do not think Arkansas is going to be able to get the job done. But they do get to a bowl game. That's a 6-6 record in the first year of the Chad Morris era, and that is very, very respectable for Arkansas. I know a lot of people aren't expecting them to make a bowl game, but him bringing in his new scheme, it's going to continue to work in progress over the course of this season, but I think they're going to be able to get there, and the schedule works out very favorable for them. 3 fairly easy games here that they should be able to start off 3-0. Ole Miss is that one toss-up game that could decide it. Maybe they could get a big win in Arlington against Texas A&M. Maybe they could upset LSU at home. I'm just not seeing either of those right now. But then you have Tulsa and Vanderbilt. So there are almost 5 games that are almost guaranteed victories for Arkansas, or should be almost guaranteed victories for Arkansas. And all it's going to take is one more to get them to bowl eligibility. I'm calling for that here against Ole Miss. And as you can see, also, it's a pattern. 3 straight wins, 3 straight losses, 3 straight wins, 3 straight losses, 6-6 record for the Arkansas Razorbacks in the first year of the Chad Morris era. If you haven't already, please go check us out on Twitter for more content and more news at Gridiron Expert. Just at Gridiron Expert, and on Instagram at The Gridiron Expert. And as always, thank you for watching. Please continue to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you next time on The Gridiron Expert.